The hottest bants in the last shitpost came from Anticlimax, Gryffindor, I Am Joe Dud, and Harmony Sword. If you'd like to see your bant, or maybe the Postal Dudes bant,
oops, botched that one,
featured in the next shitpost, leave it in the comments down below.
For better or for worse, whatever your reason for needing a kick-proof TV is, this thing is kick-proof AF.
Man, that was lame.
Saw dudes, it's the dark side of the internet's favorite shitlord Ozlo, and I'm gonna try my hardest to keep this shit under 90 minutes. Now let's get back to laughing at DSP. Ask and you shall receive. Ladies and gentlemen, the best line of products on Teespring just launched. Check it out here. And thank you for all your support to keep the vest streak alive. Well, we all knew that vest-obsessed Phil would eventually reach this point, merchandising the only thing he can monetize, himself in a vest. The real interesting thing is that we got a whole line of vest products, and I reckon it wouldn't hurt to take a little side quest to his Teespring store to take a look at the rest of the exciting Dark Side Phil vest merchandise.
Just do it! Just fucking do it! Ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it. I delivered. Vest merchandise now exists on my Teespring store. Alright? 3 different designs. Each design features me in a different color of vest.
But that's the only thing different about them. They all have the same lame pose, with Dark rocking the same tee, and the hair being that full. Come on, dude, you ain't fooling nobody.
Because you guys asked for it. Alright? I hope you'll give it a look, because people asked for this for like 2 months. I finally did it. And ladies and gentlemen, I can confirm for you. Are you guys ready? Hold on. Confirm some big news. Here it is.
Get a fucking real soundboard, Dark. Stop using the little toy because it sounds like a soap opera pipe organ.
We have sold the first vest shirt. Yes. A vest shirt did actually sell.
It's a product, Dark. It's supposed to fucking sell. It's pretty pathetic that you're celebrating just one sale of a t-shirt.
If you can believe it. This is true. It did sell. Alright? So, that's awesome. And I hope that, you guys will give it a look. I hope that you guys will consider possibly buying some of the merch, because it took a while. I had to get someone to design some nice artwork, and I should give a shout out to Azure Studios, the designer of the logo and artwork there. It's really great in my opinion. People have been saying it looks like one of the best things I've ever put up on Teespring. I agree.
Back to the Teespring, boys. After that terrifying ordeal, let's just hope we never have to go back to Darks to Phil's Teespring store.
Never again! Never!
So give it a look. Some people say I'm surprised someone bought something. I am.
If you're surprised that you made a sale, then it shows that you have no faith in the product at all.
I am. I'm shocked because usually my Teespring stuff doesn't really sell. I'm just being honest. You know, the Teespring store is not something I push pretty much ever. I just mentioned that it exists, but you know, you guys, I don't make a focus on selling merch. I'm not one of those guys, like, oh, it's all about the shirts and the merch and the stickers and this and that.
If people wanted your merch, they would buy your merch. But they're not, so...
You know, it exists because you guys want it, not because I'm trying to make a buck on it. Okay?
So what's the moral from this story, boys? Darkside Phil's merch is fucking trash, and his sense of business is kinda shit. Also, it seems like Phil really wants to sell these vest shirts, because he's placing an ad for them in every one of his scheduled tweets. My only advice for Dave is make merch that people would actually want to buy, and they will buy it. It's the internet, Phil. It's not fucking rocket science.
This guy's constantly whining. Wah, wah. Shut the fuck up. God damn. Wah, wah. Oh my god.
We got some new updates regarding the biggest mystery on the dark side of the internet, that WWE Champions account. Hey y'all, I would like to introduce myself. I've been in and out of this faction a few times, under different names in the last 1 to 2 months. I have one of the biggest rosters in the game, and was formerly on the console to a top 5 faction. That all changed when a group of internet trolls mistook me for someone else. Some idiot video game streamer they hate, and they've stalked me since January, leading me to get kicked out of the faction for no good reason. I've changed my name in the game to no avail, as they still stalk and find me. So at this point, I'm done running and I'm gonna stay with the Road Warriors for the foreseeable future. If you have any questions regarding builds for superstars or roster advice, I'm your guy, as I have 98% of them.
You're right.
And if we need more evidence, you boys remember back to the last Discord leak, right? 4058 versus 4058. Huh, and it's even got the name. They call me DSP.
Me. A silly $1 million says, great gameplay. I consider this the newest day. Newest day. It's like one newest day. That's not a word. I've gone down from the rafters. Okay.
Alright, very funny, boys, but which one of you turned dark into a stress toy?
I've gone down from the rafters. Okay. I consider this the newest day and I've gone down from the rafters. What? Okay. Thanks for the $1 tip. I have no fucking clue what you just said. Okay then. Just another weird message. I have no clue. I'm just gonna say okay. Okay. Thanks for the $1. Down from the rafters. Scroll. Oh, my fishing rod broke. Shit. Scrolled off the screen. Down from the rafters says, Phil, why did you choose Tuesday for your day off this week? Because this week.
You know what that's the face of, boys? That's the face of, oh shit, I gotta change my Wrestle account ASAP. And the mystery continues. Personally, I got 2 theories. One, it's Phil's, or it's some guy in the Middle East.
But how do I raise my intelligence? I don't know how that works.
So a little bit ago, Sony unveiled the PS5, and of course fucking Philium's gotta cover it like Mr. Games Media that he is. The first third of his event was him and his chat speculating, which went as well as,
Guaranteeing. I actually feel Horizon Zero Dawn 2, God of War 2, and Spider-Man 2 are like a given. Like, we're going to see information about those games at this Sony event. I almost guarantee it. Like, I can't imagine why they wouldn't. Okay.
Once the world's dullest pre-show decided to wrap up, we got to the real meat and potatoes of this event. Phil's cold takes about the PS5 reveal.
Alright, ladies and gents. The PlayStation 5 reveal event just finished here on June 11th, 2020. I have a lot to say. In particular, I think this was actually pretty cool because for an hour before the event, myself and my stream viewers speculated about what we were going to see. And then when the event finally happened, we were like, oh, this happened, this didn't happen, okay? So what I like to do is go step by step through the recap of the entire event, giving you my opinions on everything. And at the end, what we're going to do is go through my predictions that I had for the event and see how dead on we were correct and how way off we were. Because in some cases, we were super duper correct, and in some places, we were wrong.
We're only going to be hitting highlights on this one, boys. Mainly because I don't want to see this shitpost turned into a feature film.
I'm being yelled at. By who? Because I didn't put on the vest.
I mean, they have every right to yell at you, Dark. You made over 100 Susan shekels. That means you gotta play dress up for the pay piggies in the wheelchairs.
I'm being yelled at. Screamed at. Alright. Fair enough. You guys were supportive. earlier. You earned the vest, so I put the vest on. Sorry. Okay.
Ah, there we go. Now this is looking like a true Darks to Fill event.
The first game they showed off was Spider-Man 2 Miles Morales. It's actually just called Spider-Man Miles Morales. We knew this was going to happen. Anyone who had played the original Spider-Man game 2 years ago, it ended with Miles kind of taking up the Spider-Man mantle. We knew that was going to happen. So it looks pretty good, although they don't show much, if any, gameplay, just a very little bit. And it basically says Holiday 2020. So, wow, that's actually a good way, in my opinion, to start it off. Because, okay, a game we were all looking forward to. A game that we know is probably going to be very good, and it's coming out for holiday, the launch of the PS5. It'll be around right around the launch of PS5, so that's a big thumbs up. Okay.
I'm gonna have a little counter in the corner for every time I agree with Dave, because I am also looking forward to Spider-Man Miles Morales. Kind of a bummer that it's only an enhanced expansion, but the world keeps on turning.
Ratchet and Clank. Holy shit. Now this was one of the things I thought was not going to happen. Ratchet and Clank is being basically rejuvenated for the PlayStation 5 after the failure of the Ratchet & Clank reboot and the Ratchet & Clank movie.
Hold the fucking phone. The reboot Ratchet & Clank failed. Time to do a little bit of research.
Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. I'm incredibly surprised they put this much money into a new game, but this game is called Ratchet & Clank, fuck.
Did we forget how to read our own handwriting, Phil? You fucking idiot.
It's called Ratchet & Clank, fuck.
Ha
No, it's called Ratchet & Clank, A Rift Apart. And it looks great. It's got all these interdimensional stuff where basically all the dimensions are tearing into each other, so you've got a seafaring dimension with a kraken and pirates that's interfering with the modern Ratchet & Clank society.
Hold all the phones. What the fuck was that?
Modern Ratchet & Clank society.
Well then, I guess we live in a modern Ratchet & Clank society.
Of like futuristic animals and robots, and then you've got fantasy stuff going on. It's all this crazy stuff all kind of like imploding in on itself, and it shows that Ratchet can now use these special abilities to like change reality. He can pull things towards him and warp reality. Plus he's got all the cool guns that he used to have. It looks really good. In my opinion, it looked great. The gameplay they showed was great. And then they showed there will be alternate dimensions and storylines. Like, for example, Clank gets sucked into another dimension. And in that dimension, there's a version of Ratchet that's not Ratchet. It's a female wombat. Or was it Wombax?
Actually, Phil, it's called a Lombax.
Who apparently is not called that. And so there's alternate dimensions versions of them that you're going to have in the game too. In my opinion, this blew me away. I didn't expect it. I didn't think we'd see Ratchet & Clank ever again. It actually looks like a cool rejuvenation of the franchise.
The sequel to the 2016 reboot looks like a cool rejuvenation for the series.
Think before you speak.
And for me, this is going to be like the Knack.
Oh, it's just neck, baby! Neck is back, baby! It's neck! Yeah! You like that neck, baby! You like that neck! Hello, it's a neck, neck, baby! My neck is back!
Of PlayStation 5. You remember Knack was the launch title for PS4 that was a platformer for kids and everything and showed off the technology. I think that this Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will be the game that will show that off for a platformer for kids on PS5. The only problem, no release date. If they had said launch title for PS5, I would have been like, damn, that's going to sell consoles. No release date. So because of that, we don't know when it's coming out. Okay.
A major motif from the event was Phil being super butthurt about release dates.
No release date. Okay. There's no release date. Alright. But it's got no release date. Okay. And it's got no release date. It's got no release date. That game has no release date. And it has no release date. It has no release date. And by the way, that game, it has no release date. None. No release date. So it looks great, and there's no release date for it.
Because in DSP's world, every game that's announced needs to have their release date already figured out. Now that's what I call pretty fucking entitled.
Then they start talking a little bit about the specs of the PS5. 4K Ultra Blu-ray, super high-speed SSD, ray tracing, haptic feedback in the controller, adaptive triggers, built-in microphone, built-in speakers, all built into the mic, and a headphone jack built into the mic. Now, does that mean, with a built-in headphone jack, does that mean that the standalone receiver units that have been needed for surround sound and good high-quality headsets for previous consoles are no longer needed? And this... Unplug it. And this means that basically you will just have any headphones you could plug into it, and you're going to get full 3D audio? Maybe. I don't know if that's what they're getting at with it or not. I guess we're going to find out when we get more information about that closer to release. But I think that's what they were kind of hinting at, that you no longer need the ginormous amount of equipment to have good audio anymore.
Does that mean that your office is going to be clean and presentable?
Look at the mess of this place! It's fucking ridiculous!
There's a new Little Big Planet game, but it's not Little Big Planet.
I know it's a little late to point this out, but I'm really loving the point. It reminds me of DSP cutting his own little Wrestle promo.
I really think that he watches too much WWE.
It's called Sackboy: The Big Adventure, and it's going to be a 4-player co-op platformer in the spirit of Little Big Planet, but it actually appears to be more 3D oriented rather than just being morely 2D side scroller. There's a lot of 3D platforming like Mario games. I've been wondering what the hell happened to Sackboy. There hasn't been a Little Big Planet game in a ridiculously long time. And so they're finally going to have one for PS5.
Correct, Philbert. It's been a little bit since the last Little Big Planet game, and I cannot wait for you to play the co-op platform solo because you have no friends. Feels bad, man.
So up next, it's a game where it looks like characters from Fortnite are driving vehicles, and it almost looks like Rocket League, only these vehicles are also using weapons. But then it looks like you can get out of your vehicle, and now it looks like you're playing Fortnite, and you can fight the other people hand to hand. So it's kind of unclear what this game is going to be. It's called Destruction All-Stars. They're definitely 1,000,000%. They are trying to go for Fortnite. The characters look like they're ripped out of Fortnite, okay?
It's kind of sad that anytime Dave sees anything with a bit of style, he immediately compares it to Fortnite. Because Dark loves games, he doesn't cynically write them off. He would never.
Continuing on, there's a game that looks like everyone's in high school, except they're all furry creatures.
This is gonna be good.
Dragons, furry animals, etc. And it's a girl basically saying, oh, I gotta do something with my life. It's time to make a change. It's time to take the leap. It's time to do this. And all you gotta do is take a chance. So it's all ambiguous crap that makes no sense.
Like most of your pre-streams and boomer segments?
Definitely remind me of like a Life is Strange vibe. Then it showed them playing in like an indie band. I was like, this is definitely Life is Strange with furries in it. And it's called Goodbye Volcano High. That one's coming out in 2021. If anyone's interested.
Calling it right fucking now, boys. Someone from his audience is gonna rope Dave into playing that game. And I, for one, cannot wait for Dave to stumble through that landmine of exceptionalism.
This was kind of a surprise. Oddworld is coming back. I thought Oddworld games were over with. Oddworld is coming back with a brand new game called Soulstorm. It's a direct sequel from the Oddworld games that have come out from now. Abe is still in charge of his race of people who had been slaves, and he broke them out of the evil corporation, and now he's in charge of basically giving them a new life. But I guess for some reason he's going back to this corporate area to try to destroy stuff because it shows him controlling them and leading them and doing platforming stuff just like the old Oddworld games. So it looks pretty interesting to me.
I'm fucking pumped for Oddworld. Stranger's Wrath is one of my favorite games of all time. I also don't want to be that guy, but I googled Soulstorm and found out the game was low-key announced back in 2016. So moral of the story there.
Shinji Mikami comes on screen.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
To talk about his new game, Ghost World Tokyo.
It's actually Ghostwire, but who the fuck is keeping track?
Which we had known about because he had originally presented this at first last year at E3. And he says it's basically going to be a combination, as we saw last year, of survival horror, but also action. It's like action horror.
That's sort of what Mr. Mikami does best, you fucking idiot.
So don't expect it to be full survival horror a la like old school Resident Evil or anything like that. But what really threw me for a loop, the game's combat is first person. And it shows all these crazy looking ghosts and monsters coming at you in first person. You're using these abilities, not guns, but like supernatural abilities to combat the ghosts and monsters. And this is not what they showed last year. If you actually go back to E3 2019 footage, it almost looked like it was going to be like a third-person shooter game.
Yeah, about that. I went back to 2019 footage. All we got was a fucking reveal trailer. That really cool Rapture-looking one.
Or action game where you'd be fighting with guns or weapons against the ghosts. And it looks like they've completely scrapped that idea and gone to a first-person perspective. So it looks interesting and it actually looks unique. But someone just said something, Cookie Monster just said something that really is worrying me. What if the reason they did that is because it's VR? I hope not. And they haven't said that, or they haven't alluded to that yet. But I am nervous that the reason that they made the jump to first person is because they're trying to push it as a VR game, and I really hope not. I want this to be a mainstream, you know, horror-style game. I don't want this to be only PSVR. You get a fucking headache playing it. So I really, really hope not.
I reckon if it was going to get PSVR integration, it would have been shown or at least announced. Besides, Resident Evil 7 showed that you can do VR in first person, and you can choose VR or not in that game. Point I'm trying to make, if Ghostwire is going to do VR, they'd probably have an option for it, and it probably wouldn't be horrible.
But at the same time, I like Shinji Mikami games, so I'm hoping for the best, and I hope it turns out well. I definitely like the art style of the game being set in Tokyo and everything.
I'm in the same boat with Dave here. I'm pretty excited for Ghostwire. Pretty excited to play a horror-themed FPS with magic. Gonna pop off some lightning bolts on the bitch from The Grudge. Let's go.
Gearbox Software making a new game, because you know Gearbox has had a really great year so far in the press, as you guys know. Randy Pitchford.
Fun fact, Phil, Randy Pitchford's always been a fucking scumbag. Shit, I'd go as even far as say he's a bigger scumbag than you are.
So it was like a 7.5 game, which I think would have been fine for an Aliens game.
And if you need even more reasons to fucking hate Randy, here you go.
Godfall. Now, I honestly, up to now, I'll be honest with you guys, I had not seen any gameplay of the game. I'd seen some stills of it. I'd never seen any of it. What this game looks to me, I'm going to be very honest with all of you. You could completely disagree. Godfall, to me, looks like Rise 2020. It looks like a game that's going to show off the graphical capabilities of the PS4. Every character is metallic and looks like a god, but only a metallic version of that god. And it looks like a third-person combat game where you mash buttons to do combos and stuff. It doesn't look very good to me. It doesn't look polished. It looks like it's a very primitive, basic game. Nothing that they showed was like, oh wow, look at these amazing combat and free-flowing. It just looked like basic 3-hit combo, special ability, combo, special ability. And it showed a few different cinematics and enemies and stuff. It doesn't look good. And this reminds me exactly how Rise looked. Oh my god, on paper, the game looks amazing. The next-gen capabilities of the Xbox One, and you buy it and it's like, block, combo, and it's a 4-hour game. And this game is actually going to be one of the launch titles for PS5. Of all the games that they showed, this was one of the least impressive games that I saw at the entire press conference. And I was left kind of saying, I honestly don't know if I want to get this one. Like, this kind of looks shitty. It looks repetitive, boring, and shitty, and only going to show off graphics like Rise did. So I don't know about that. Okay?
Bit of a plot twist, but I sort of agree with Phil on this one. Not really with the whole Rise comparison, but definitely seeing this as an underwhelming launch title. I see Godfall as more of a nefarious microtransaction machine, preying on next-gen early adopters. That's just a feeling I got from the game.
Moving on, Arcane Studios is making a new game. Alright, and this game, in the vein of, say, the visual style of Dishonored, has a very cartoony kind of visual style, but is very adult-oriented.
I would say the art style is more of an oil painting. Then again, fucking simple-minded Phil. If it's colorful, then it's gotta be cartoony.
It's a first-person combat and shooter game where there's a lot of gore and a lot of killing. Basically, the name of the game is Deathloop, and you star as a character...
No fucking way.
...who is on the run because everyone's out to kill him. His goal is to assassinate 8 targets in one night, but every time he gets killed by everyone who's after him, he can rewind back to a certain point and replay. So it's kind of like that whole Groundhog Day deal where you can resume from where a certain point and try to do it a different way and try to survive and move on. It seems pretty interesting. I don't know how good it will be.
I mean, it's Arcane fucking Studios. The boys got a pretty good track record thus far. Sure, one of the main dudes left to go work on Weird West, but I'm still fucking excited for Deathloop. John Woo mixes some Dishonored and 70s aesthetics. Let's go.
But it is from Arcane, which is a pretty solid game studio, and unlike Dishonored and other recent games they've done, it doesn't look like it's going to be all about looting shit, which is a big giant part of Dishonored and stuff like that.
What the fuck is he even talking about? Yeah, you looted shit in Dishonored to make money to get upgrades from Piero, but the game's called Dishonored, not Diablo.
It's funny how dumb you are.
So it could be pretty good. You know, exactly, the live, die, repeat loop.
Well, I'm so fucking happy that your audience knows what a time loop is. And if you boys don't, go watch the movie Triangle.
So up next, a game that when the trailer starts playing, you can't hear a word anyone's saying. For some reason, the volume levels were completely off, and the frame rate of this presentation was terrible. It dipped to about 15 frames per second.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John
impossible to follow what was going on. But from what I could see, there were mutated people, mutated creatures, things coming out of the ground coming after you. It kind of, at first it looked like Blair Witch. But then it kind of looked like something else, and I didn't know what it was. Then it showed a guy with a big hat and dark glasses, and he takes it off and he's all pale. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm getting a vibe. I hope it's not what it is. But then they revealed it. Village, Resident Evil 8. And then they show this giant mutated guy going, rah! And he kind of reminded me of the giant mutated guy from Resident Evil 4, the Las Plagas monster. And forgive me because I've completely forgotten his name at this point. It's been so long since I played the games. But it absolutely reminded me of that creature. And I'm like, I don't know anymore. Like, Resident Evil 7 was really good because it took a different direction. But at least it tied in to Resident Evil. Like, this game, I didn't see any zombies. I didn't see any Las Plagas. I didn't see any G-Virus, T-Virus, real G-Virus. The only tie-in that I saw that it really had to Resident Evil is because at the very end of it, it shows Chris Redfield. And he shoots a woman like multiple times and kills her. And apparently you're the main character. You're not Chris. And you're like, Chris, why are you doing that? Oh my god. And then he just ends. It's like, huh?
Bro, it's a fucking announcement trailer. It's not gonna reveal everything about the game. That'd be lame. I bet if you buy the game and play the game, you'll find the connections to the previous games in the series.
You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's good. Here's how I compare it. When they showed the very first trailers for Resident Evil 7, it looked like it was gonna be some kind of a hick family, you know, a hillbilly family in a house. And it didn't really show horror. It was more just like kind of almost like Rob Zombie-ish than anything else. But when you finally played the game, it was very much in the vein of Resident Evil. You had monsters and mutated zombies and things you were fighting constantly, and it really felt like a Resident Evil game. So I hope that this is a example. Yeah, it was Ethan and Mia, that's right. I think you were supposed to be playing Ethan, like the main character for Resident Evil 7. And Mia, if you remember, was one of the other characters from Resident Evil 7, who you had a choice, I believe, to save by the end. But Chris Redfield just shoots the fuck out of her, okay? So, for me, I'm hoping that this is a case where the trailer is not a good representation of what the actual game is going to be. That maybe it just showed the cutscenes and the things, you know, and the gameplay will actually be a la Resident Evil 7, and it'll be a really good game. But I was just utterly confused at what I was seeing. I was like, is this Resident Evil? It didn't, to me, it didn't blow me away. Like Resident Evil 7 was a great game, but I don't know. It's just, I wanted something to say, this is Resident Evil. And to me, watching it, it's definitely going to be a horror game, but it didn't look like Resident Evil. Again, it kind of looked more like Rob Zombie than anything else. So, I don't know. I wasn't blown away. Some people said, oh, they're so excited for Resident Evil 8. Well, oh, by the way, it's coming out in 2021, which we kind of knew. Okay.
I have a feeling either way RE8 goes, Phil's gonna find a way to cry about it. That's just one of the few things he's good at.
At this point, people thought that we were getting near the end of the presentation, and indeed we were. Finally, a game that I think everyone was finally expecting to get some information about. We get information about Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is called Forbidden West, and the character who you had basically been helping the entire first game is now appears to be the villain, which we knew if you saw the end of the first game, he kind of becomes the villain at the end of the game, especially if you played the DLC. And it's interesting, you know, it looks like there's going to be more creatures, more robotic creatures we didn't see in the first game, like giant mammoths and stuff like that. The graphics look outstanding.
I only played like 3 hours into Horizon, but I'm super stoked that Dave's excited.
The next one actually did interest me. Hitman 3. That's right. So the next game from Square Enix.
Sorry to break it to you, Dave. IO actually got the rights to Hitman from Square Enix. So once again, dipshit Phil is
wrong.
In the Hitman trilogy, and they actually announced formally that it is a trilogy of games. This will be the end of the plot line from the first two Hitman games that still haven't had a resolution. There will actually be a resolution in Hitman 3. Really, all they stated was that there will be a stage in Dubai, and they show you climbing the giant skyscrapers that they have in Dubai and sneaking in and trying to do assassinations. And that game is coming out January 2021, so just after the release window of the console, but at least relatively within the first few months of the console's launch. So that looks pretty good to me. And no word whatsoever of it being episodic, which makes me believe it's going to be a full-fledged game just like Hitman 2 was, which is a good thing. We don't want another episodic title. We want a game that's full-fledged out 100% that you can play. Okay?
Why does DSP think he's the Lorax of gaming with all this fucking Wii shit?
even I gotta prepare myself for this one. Are you guys ready?
No.
Okay. From the makers of Octodad, just to give you a frame of reference, there's a strawberry sitting on the ground. All of a sudden, the strawberry grows eyes. All of a sudden, the strawberry's leaves become legs. The strawberry starts to walk across the ground and says, strawberry, 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 strawberry. A walrus walks up, picks up the strawberry, eats it, and says, this is one of the living creatures on our island. As it eats the strawberry, the walrus's hand becomes a strawberry.
Is he dead?
You would think I was high, or, you know, this is some kind of like a fever-induced dream. This happened. You can watch it. It must be on the internet by now. This actually happened. So they continue on. All food is alive and moves like a bug, but talks the name of what it is. And there's animals on an island eating the food, and as they eat the living food, their appendages become the food. A dog's arm becomes a hot dog. You eat a hamburger, and your face is now a burger. The name of the game is Bug Snacks. And it has no... Oh, wait. This game does have a release date. It's coming out holiday 2020. I can't wait to play this game on my launch PS5. I mean, this is what I've been waiting for, guys.
Me too, Dave. I can't wait for the This Is How You Don't Plays with 10 times the fucking clown mode.
Continuing on. I forget the guy's name, and I apologize for this, but one of the top guys at Sony comes on the screen and basically says, this one's near and dear to my heart, so let's reveal it. Demon's Souls Remake. Fuck yes! They are remaking Demon's Souls. It was strongly rumored this was already happening, although most people speculated the game would actually be coming out for current-gen consoles. It looks like it's actually going to be coming out for next-gen consoles.
Me thinks it's just going to be a PS5 exclusive because Bluepoint is working on the game. Those are the same lads that worked on the Shadow of the Colossus remake, along with a bunch of other remasters.
And then finally, they say there's a montage to kind of close the show of all these game devs who are working on games for PlayStation 5, and they literally say, oh, it's the best console ever, you're going to be able to have the best stories ever, you're going to be able to have the best thing ever, it's the best console ever, 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 kissing PlayStation 5, but their lips are so far up the sphincter hole of Sony during this.
Just like how you expect your audience to be towards you.
But I always say, when I want to know what's the next-gen console I should buy, the selling point for me is a montage of game devs kissing the console's butt. Not the games coming out for it, or the release dates of the games to coincide with the release of the console, but when a game dev just assures me that the console is good, I run out and buy it immediately. So that was a very useful part of the whole show.
I think you're missing the whole fucking point of the dev montage, Phil. It's to show every other company that's working on shit for the PS5. It's not just blind dick sucking, it's to show that more games are coming.
So anyway, then finally at the very end of this, by the way, it was about an hour and 15 minutes long, this presentation, we finally get some concrete information regarding the PlayStation 5. First, they show it, and I'm not going to show you a picture of it here. You can look it up yourself.
Because showing a picture of the PS5 would require editing, and Lord knows Phil Burnell cannot edit to save his fucking life.
To me, it looks like the console doesn't go flat, because it's rounded on the sides. It's kind of, it is kind of almost a narrow rectangle, but it's rounded. The center of the console is black and has glowing blue lights. The outer levels or outer layers of it are white. So it looks kind of interesting. It matches that PlayStation 5 controller design we saw that's white on the edges and has the glowing blue light and black kind of touchpad on the middle. So it kind of matches it. But it looks weird. I'm going to admit it. It looks weird. And to me, it doesn't look like there's any way you can sit the console flat. To which I'm like, where am I going to put it? My entertainment center is 3 levels of flat. Every console I own can be laid flat. This one looks like it can't. Like, this one just stands up. So they're obviously trying to make it look futuristic or cool, but you know, just space-wise, it's going to be annoying, I feel.
I think it's really funny that Phil's biggest hang-up with the PS5 is the fact that he may not be able to lie it down flat. I'm going to assume you can, just like the other PlayStation consoles, but if you can't, Phil, oh no, whatever are you gonna do, bud? Phil's making a mountain out of a molehill. Bitchin' just a fucking bitch.
Game over, man. It's game over.
However, I will agree it does look kinda stupid. Then again, looks aren't everything, boys.
I think the major big thing that they blew everyone away with, it's not just one console, there are two models. Now, we all speculated it was going to be, but one of the things that we had talked about in my pre-stream speculations actually came to fruition. Ooh, nobody gives a shit! There's one model that will have the 4K HD Blu-ray player. The other model is called Digital Edition and has no disc drive whatsoever. This is going to be huge. And the reason I speculate this will be huge, I am predicting at least a $100 price point, if not more, maybe a $150 price point difference between the two models. Because if you're someone like me, I don't need a 4K Blu-ray player. I don't care about owning physical copies of games. I want to get all games digitally at launch. That's what I've done for the last 4 to 5 years on my PS4. I don't care about the disc drive. I can save money right off the get-go by getting the one that doesn't have the drive in it.
Of course, DSP sees it as a money saver, because everything on the dark side of the internet leads back to money.
It's gross. It's for this. But what they did not clarify is if there were any other differences between the consoles. If I get the one without the disc drive, are you also gonna basically give me a lower end hard drive? Which I would say that's stupid. If anything, you need to have equal hard drives, especially if it's digital only, right? You still have to download the whole games. So yeah, you're trying to save money, but you still need the storage space, especially if it's all digital games. You know what I'm saying? So what I would hope is that they're not going to be doing differences between the consoles besides the disc drive. And let's face it, 4K HD Blu-ray play drives are cost between $100 to $150. So maybe they can lower the price point by $100 to $150, and everyone would probably go for the digital version, unless they don't have good internet or they're one of those diehards who absolutely I want to own every disc.
He makes it seem like it's a bad thing to be a collector. Meanwhile, this is the same guy who filled his condo with fucking statues and toys.
In which case, then you get the version that's the higher end version. So for me, I want to go for the lower end version. Seriously, I want to save the money. I don't want to blow money on something I'm never going to use. I've never once watched a Blu-ray movie on my PlayStation 4. So why did I spend money on the drive, right? So there you go. Now, they also showed off a few other things, okay? They have a headset that's a wireless headset for it that apparently will do the full 3D audio. So again, I have to ask, is this making all third-party headsets obsolete? If you just buy the name brand Sony wireless headset, will it do full-on 3D audio? You won't need cables anymore. And if it's so good it does full 3D audio right out of the box, you don't need anything else. So everyone, they might literally make everything else obsolete. If it's doing 3D audio from the get-go, you don't need to buy anything else. You see what I'm saying? Charging docks for the controllers, no shit, like that's always kind of existed, but there's going to be official Sony charging docks. And then also a remote control, because if you buy the version that has the Blu-ray player, you want to use it to control it to play your movies, right? You don't have to keep getting up or use a PlayStation controller. You want a nice fancy remote control. And that was the presentation, all right? That was, like I said, it ran about, I'd say, an hour and 15 minutes, okay?
And with you hosting it, it felt like a fucking eternity in hell. But somehow we fucking made it through, boys. Yes? Oh. Fuck. Okay. I understand. Thank you so much. Toodles. I got some bad news, Bears. There's a fucking post show.
So first of all, let's go through our list of what we had predicted would happen in this conference, and let's see where we were dead on correct, and let's see where we were wrong, okay? First of all, I predicted there would be 15 games presented. So I can count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There were 27 games presented. Keep in mind, not all of them were groundbreaking. Oh my God, GTA 5 again. So they did a good job. They also ran a little late. So it is what it is. Some of the games had no information on what they were.
Because they were just announced, dude. Don't be an entitled bitch. It's not a good look for you.
I have no fucking idea what some of the games were. So, it is what it is, but they did present a lot of the games, okay?
Well, congratulations, Einstein. You figured out the whole point of the event. I'm so fucking proud of you, man.
Horizon Zero Dawn 2, boom. Dead on. We were 100% correct on that one. They presented it. God of War 2, no show. So that's a disappointment. Spider-Man 2, yes, it's now called Spider-Man Miles Morales. Very nice. We got information about that, and it's coming out for the holiday, which is one of the biggest things, I think. If you buy PS5, you'll be playing the new Spider-Man game at launch. So that's huge, right? Crash Bandicoot, no show. Sly Cooper, no show.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news for your audience, Phil, but I reckon after what happened with Thieves in Time, we're not going to be seeing Sly Cooper for a fucking minute.
But you're going to see there was something that I feel was a replacement for those. Racing and driving game, we hit it right on the head, Gran Turismo 7. Was there a first-person shooter like Call of Duty Battlefield or something else? Not really. Although you can argue there were a few first-person games, like they showed Deathloop is a first-person shooter, but it's not a competitive online one. So in that case, I think we actually were wrong. It didn't show up. Fighting games were a 100% no-show. Not a single piece of fighting game was shown at all. That was actually a surprise to me. Godfall was there, so that was dead on. We predicted that, and it was there. Dying Light 2, no show. The PSVR, surprisingly enough, there was a no-show.
My guess is they're making an updated version of the hardware for the PS5, and that hypothetical bun is still in the oven.
I can't believe it. I thought for sure there would be something about PSVR, seriously. But I guess not. So there you go. The new IP from the maker of Dead Space and or Shadow of Mordor, I guess it was in there. Was it maybe that really weird game Pragmata? Because the helmet kind of looked like the Dead Space helmet. Maybe. So I guess we were right, but I don't know what game it even was. Was there more information on the PS4 controller? Yes and no, not much additional, but at least they showed it off. PlayStation Now was a no-show. So in reality, we were only right half the time. We were right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We were 7 for 14. So we only had a 50% accuracy rate for what we were assuming was going to be there for sure.
Big ups on doing basic division, dipshit.
All right. Now, what did we not think was going to be there whatsoever?
I didn't think your self-respect was going to be there, and oh look, I was right.
Ratchet and Clank. Wow, that was 100% fail. It was there. So that was there. But there was no Jak and Daxter. There was no Infamous. No Twisted Metal. Grand Theft Auto 6, I mean, I would say we were wrong about that because it was GTA 5. So 3 out of the 5 things we absolutely didn't think would be there were not there, but 2 were. So that's like what? 3 for 5 is a 60% accuracy rate?
Oof, you and the Pay Piggy Armada are not doing pretty well in the averages there, Phil.
Okay, things that we said were maybes. Suda51 was not there. There was no Batman game. There was no pricing info, nor was there a release date announced. No Hideo Kojima, and no Assassin's Creed. But one maybe did make it. A FromSoft title, but it wasn't what we thought. We thought maybe it would be Elden Ring, or maybe it would be Bloodborne, or nope, it was Demon Souls remake, or remaster.
Nope, that is a Demon Souls remake, and it's being worked on by Bluepoint. While that game is being worked on, From Software and George Railroad Martin are going to be banging out Elden Ring. That game better be good, or else I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my life. Oh my god.
So, at least FromSoft, so that was only 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 for 6. Damn, that's really shitty. That's like, what, like 16% or some shit like that. So that was really bad.
God, you guys suck at predicting things.
First of all, I like conferences where it's all about the games. And even though we were craving hardware information, at least they did focus on games a lot. And you can kind of see, okay, some franchises seem like they're going to be returning. Some franchises will be continuing that we expected. But it's a good mix of that also with new game franchise like Godfall and stuff like that.
You shat on Godfall this whole fucking time. Don't flip-flop on it now, bro. That's what Randy wants, Phil. Don't give in to that thieving magic bastard.
I'll be honest, some people don't like the indie game stuff. I at least find it as a breath of fresh air because at least you know it's not just about big overhyped AAA titles.
Even though that's all you play.
That's a good thing for me. Even though admittedly a lot of the games kind of look similar, at least there's going to be that indie kind of vibe, and not every game is going to cost you $60+ at launch. You know, the indie games are usually sold for a more discounted price point, and there'll be variety in that. So I definitely liked that.
So if you guys don't speak fucking retard, Phil wants the trend of indie games being easily accessible to as many people as possible to continue. That's a pretty universal idea because indie games are neat.
I would say the most surprising positive for me in the whole show, looking at everything, right? The most shocking thing for me was Ratchet and Clank. I did not for one moment suspect that Ratchet and Clank was going to continue, because both the Ratchet and Clank remake and the movie many years ago, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago now or longer, they flopped horribly.
Dark, do a little bit of fucking research, dude. Use that little square in your pocket to research information. You can use that. It'll help you look less like a fucking dumbass.
They did not make the money that Sony was hoping to make, and so I thought that was it. I thought Ratchet and Clank, they did their experiment trying to bring them back, and that was the end of it. But in reality, it's the complete opposite. They are going all in on these guys on trying to be kind of the family-friendly platforming game of the PS5. In my opinion, the game looked great. I was shocked at how good it looked. And I was certainly hoping that we would see something that was family-friendly. I thought maybe it would be Knack 3.
Samesies, Philium. I too wanted Knack 3. But we live in a modern Ratchet and Clank society where we can't get everything we want.
It ended up being Ratchet and Clank. That really pleasantly surprised me. You want to know also what I really liked about the conference? There wasn't a lot of fluff. Like, every time there's a not a PlayStation, but anytime there's a press conference at all at E3, which is really what this was. This was Sony's replacement for E3, which didn't happen this year. You've got to have the Just Dance motherfuckers come out. You've got to have a 20-minute segment on shitty sports games you don't care about. They really didn't have that. It was more about the games, and games that people actually were watching this conference for. Even though they did NBA 2K21, they didn't waste time on it. You know, it was just, here it is, it presented for a few minutes, and they moved on. They didn't really waste time, and I really feel that that actually made it feel more presentable and more entertaining.
If you really like the pacing of this event, Phil, then there's no problem adopting that pacing style and adding it to your own content. Just an idea.
Now let's talk about the what the fucks and the disappointments. GTA 5 again? What the fuck? Like, really, again? And they opened the show with that?
Yeah, because Rockstar probably put a big bag of money in front of Sony and said, do this. And besides, people really like GTA Online, so it makes sense to be ported over to a new console. It can join Skyrim and Team Overported.
Like, I don't care. I played GTA 5 in 2013. It was a good new release. I played GTA Online at launch. I wasn't impressed. I went back to it when Heist released. I wasn't impressed. I'm still not impressed.
Dave, you're not everybody in the audience. Some people may want fucking GTA Online on the PS5.
It's a weird oddity for me that there's an entire group of so many thousands of people who've sunk so much money into GTA Online.
The same thing can be said about you in recent months, Phil.
In reality, what it is a social experiment.
What the fuck?
And it worked. The social experiment hooked people and kept people keeping playing it. But if anything, what came after that has proven that kind of Rockstar lucked out, because they tried to do the same exact thing with Red Dead Online 2, and it didn't work at all. No one cares about Red Dead Redemption 2 Online, and it's pretty much dead now. And that's why I think, oh, we gotta milk it again, right? So we gotta keep milking, keep reselling, keep milking. I'm blown away that people are gonna buy, people are gonna buy the fucking game again. And like, how many times can you buy the same fucking game? But you know they're going to, and that's just a what the fuck. You know what I mean? And someone just said it in the stream chat. They said, so now inevitably we're going to have Skyrim announced for PS5. Yes.
And will that be the end of the world, Phil? No. So how about you take 75% off and you keep doing your little post show?
We will. I 1,000,000% guarantee Skyrim will be ported to fucking PS5 now, because GTA 5 is going on there too. Okay? Other what the fuck moments? I would say, hold on, because I know there were a few. Oh, goodbye Volcano High. I mean,
brace yourselves, lads. We got a boomer moment inbound.
I understand this is now the era of the hipster angst, teen angsty style game, because Life is Strange succeeded, and now every indie studio thinks they can put out a game like that. I don't know about this one, Like, this one kind of seemed like a combination of, what was the game that I played years ago that people always wanted me to play? I didn't play, and then I finally played. That Anonymous really wanted me to play it. It was the game where you played as anthropomorphic animals, and it was the one where there was a cult out in the fucking woods and shit, and you discovered the cult. What the hell was the name of that game? I can't remember what the name of it was. I know you guys are going to tell me in a minute. But it seems like a combination of... Oh, Night in the Woods, yes. A combination of Night in the Woods and Life is Strange seems to be what this game is. And it's just so bizarre to me that there's people who want this. But again, I'm a 38-year-old man. I don't think I'm the target demographic for this kind of hipsterish fucking game. I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to buy it and play it or whatever, okay? Okay. Another a huge what the fuck moment was that weirdo game Bug Snacks. Like, what did I just see? Living food that you eat and becomes part of your body. What? Why not have a game about a living plunger that shoots spaghetti? And if you absorb the spaghetti into your body, you gain superpowers to fart marshmallows out of your ass, and you use that to defeat the evil invading army of the Mongols. I mean, you might as well.
Know your fucking place, trash.
If you got a game that's called Bug Snacks, you might as well have that game too. Like, why not? Why? I'm lost. This is a game. This game exists, and they're making it, and it's going to come out. I don't get it.
Fun fact, Dark, weird games come out all the time. You would think Mr. Lifelong Gamer would know that. But no, Phil's gotta be the stale bread of gaming.
I'm so lost. I can't believe that game exists. I was disappointed with Demon's Souls Remake, only because, like, Demon's Souls you can still get, but they did dismantle the online component of it. So it's good that there'll be a new generation that'll be able to play it. But I really wanted more information on Elden Ring or Bloodborne or something else. And the fact that their focus is now a Demon's Souls Remake was pretty disappointing to me, admittedly.
Again, Bluepoint is working on the Demon's Souls remake. From Software is working on Elden Ring. Moral of the story, DSP's a fucking retard.
Now let's talk about the biggest disappointments of this event.
Everything you did surrounding it. Sorry about that, boys. Had a really nasty cough right there.
Alright. I would say the biggest disappointments would be... I'm going through the list. Oh, Godfall. I'm sorry. Godfall just doesn't look good. It doesn't. Like, that's the first time I've seen the game in action, and it seriously gave me... It was just... It was oozing Rise vibes. Rise 2020. Godfall just looks like shit. It just looks like a game that they made it look good, but it's not going to be a great game. It's going to be basic combat, basic kind of... You probably played the game before 20 times, and it just is going to be one of those games that everyone's going to buy it because it's a launch title for PS5, and you'll play it once, and you'll say, why'd I waste my money, and you'll never play it again. But you know everyone's going to buy it because it's a launch title for PS5, and people are going to want new games to play. That's the vibe I'm getting. A mashy action game that's not very fun. Okay? And I would say Resident Evil 8 was pretty disappointing because really it didn't feel like I was watching Resident Evil at all.
Fair enough, Philliam. Just remember, it's the goddamn announcement trailer. Entitlement does not look good on a 38-year-old man.
Okay, it just didn't. Like, it felt like it was a different franchise that they had turned it into. It didn't feel like this is Resident Evil anymore. And I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope the vibe I got was because the volume was too low and the frame rate was choppy, and they really tried to show off this oddball stuff rather than focusing in on what the core game will be. Because Resident Evil 7 was the same. When you watched the trailer for Resident Evil 7, you thought it's going to be a bunch of hicks in the woods, and it didn't seem like Resident Evil, but then when you actually played the game, it was like Resident Evil. You're like, oh, this is good. Okay?
And I reckon that's the end goal of RE8 as well. You're just crying to cry like fucking always.
So I hope I'm wrong. I actually want that game to be good, and I hope I'm mistaken. Okay? Also, a big disappointment, no pricing info, no release date info. Obviously it's not available for pre-order yet. They weren't ready to announce that yet. And that's disappointing. But for me, by far, the biggest disappointment of the PlayStation 5 reveal is that the vast majority of games that they showed off either had no release dates whatsoever or were far into the future.
Phil, you geriatric brat. Most of these games are still being worked on. They don't have a release date because they probably don't know. And you crying about it makes you look really fucking exceptional.
I'm sorry, but it looks like we still have not learned from history, and history is still destined to repeat itself. These companies push their new consoles and say, it's got a better hard drive, it's got this great new feature, it's got that great new feature. What games will I be playing on PlayStation 5 at launch? Okay, Spider-Man Miles Morales, good. Godfall, doesn't look good. And a couple of indie titles. That's it.
Do you really think that's all the PS5 is going to launch with? Because there are more games planned for the launch of the PS5. Dirt 5, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodline 2, Destiny 2, I have a good feeling there's probably going to be another Call of Duty around the line. Point I'm trying to make, Mr. Lifelong Gamer doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. Then again, what else is new on the dark side of the internet?
That's what they showed me today. They have one game that's good at launch, Spider-Man. That's it. You'll be playing Spider-Man, and when you beat it, you'll beat it again to try to get the platinum. And you will sit and wait till January for Hitman 3. And then you'll sit and wait for... You see what I mean? Like, I'm so tired of these game console developers pushing the new hardware down our throat with no actual incentive to buy the console.
I don't know what to tell you, Dave. Get a PC or get a different hobby.
Like, why do I want PS5 at launch? I will miss out on Spider-Man 2, and that's it. I won't miss out on anything else. So why am I rushing to buy this console at launch? And they do this every time. Right? They literally do this every time. So everyone will be hyped for the console, people will pre-order it, buy it, and then it'll sit around collecting dust for months, because I guarantee you at launch there'll be ports of games. They'll probably port some games you've already played on PlayStation 4. But you're not going to have these groundbreaking, amazing, I must buy at launch games. You got Godfall, you know? And that ain't doing it for me, you know? Now...
Well, if that ain't doing it for you, then wait till they show more. If not, then don't buy the console. Not fucking rocket science, Phil. And that was Darks to Phil's PS5 reveal event in one really exceptional nutshell. A small part of me hopes that it'll cover the Devolver event in July, but Phil is the opposite of Devolver, fucking lame. And this is where I'm calling it a shitpost. Thank you so much again for watching another one of my weird-ass videos. If you would like to bully me, you can definitely do that on my Twitter, @BasedOzlo. Thank you so much again for watching, be safe, and make good choices.